Hello, everybody. I thought I saw Roberta here. Hello, everyone.
Ahoy.
Hello, everybody. My new name is Roberta. How you guys doing?
Welcome.
Roberta, you need to shave Roberta.
Welcome to Silver Sunday, this July 3rd, year of 2022, the year of our Lord. How's everyone doing?
Doing well.
Good sleep-in day. Nice and rainy.
That's right. It's been raining all day today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, went out on the back porch and just sat and watched the rain and squirrels playing in the rain and listened to the thunder and lightning for a little while.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I forget.
Sure, you have work to be doing.
I was working, Mr. Pete.
So
I don't get days off.
This is what I do on the back porch, right? This is handwritten. I don't take. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. I don't take any electronics with me. So this is my actually script.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we do it Marvel style. So this is me actually writing the script for.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I do out on the back porch.
I was almost done with your cover, Pete, but if you're going to be so snickery, I'll just rip it up.
That's only one of the covers. There's two covers.
Here's the other side, right?
Yeah, we talked about that. We're like, there's Roberta.
All right.
Hey, Roberta.
Rescued.
We saw you here briefly, but then you disappeared.
That's because my mic was working, but my cam wasn't.
Mm.
And I had to figure out why the setting was changed. And usually it's permissions issues with security in Mac, and you have to click and then you have to quit.
Yeah.
If I don't quit Chrome, then, it doesn't take.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's funny because this is pretty much the only thing that I use Chrome for. I use, I'm a Firefox guy normally.
Yeah, I don't use Chrome either.
Except for Sunday nights when we come and do this, I pull out my Chrome, and that's what we do. So.
Well, hi. I have
Silverline Tech Talk. I love it.
Technological news. I bought a Cintiq.
Nice.
Oh.
What, is it like a specific one?
It's the small one.
Okay. Cool. How
So I've been drooling over that, I don't know, most of my adult life.
Great.
But I don't know if you guys have realized that I can barely select, but I really have never been able to ever in the past 2 years. The Wacom driver did not interface right, and I've not been able to airbrush. So I have gradient blended every coloring that I've done, which is a great tool, but
wow.
I have had to work around the fact that I can't draw the way I'm supposed to, all because I've done everything in my power to get the drivers to work with the Intuos tablet, and it just hates it. It's hated it for 2 years, and I've changed 3 operating systems. I've taken
You were
out the
using a Mac
drivers.
is what the problem was. You should have been
Right.
using a Windows machine this whole time.
Yeah. Jeff Potts is leaving us all kind of questions here.
So that's my news. This is
Wow.
coloring basics is
Congratulations.
going to be so much easier now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's right.
Mhm.
So here's the big question. Is it still going to allow you to share on our streams?
It's using the video from the monitor, so I don't know if that creates an interference or not. I don't know until I try it. But I was busy right up until the stream here, so I wasn't able to get on it and try it out.
Who wants to start sharing this tonight then?
Yeah,
Let Roberta try.
Yeah.
I could try it.
All right,
It's not-
we're going to try. All right, so while you're trying this, let me go through the business. Big thank you to Daytona Beach Comic Con, our sponsor. If you are a fan of comic books and you like comic book conventions where you like to meet comic book creators and the like, you should make your plans to go to Daytona Beach Comic Con, September 10 and 11 in not Daytona Beach. It's actually in DeLand, but shh, it's Daytona Beach Comic Con. Yeah, there's going to be about a baker's dozen of us there, Silverliners there. There's going to be a whole bunch of other folks there as well, all independent creators. So bring your Silverline comics. We will be happy to sign them. Better yet, bring some cash and buy some new comics, and then give your old ones away. Spread the Silverline love. Give them to people that you think, hey, you love this book, and I've got a signed copy. I'm going to give you my unsigned copy.
Better, right?
That's right. Yeah, do that. We need to put something together soon, because I know that Pete, for one, is going to take pre-show commissions. So if you want a commission from Pete, you can make arrangements.
We in July yet?
Today is the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
We've
It
delved
is.
into July already.
Don't you know the 4th of July tomorrow? Woohoo!
Oh,
Fireworks and stuff.
America's
You celebrate
birthday.
that kind of stuff, don't you?
how's that working out for
Anyway,
you? The
people
independent?
get,
You going all right?
their
You guys
comics
celebrate that
signed.
too, right, Pete?
We've gone through this.
Yeah,
I think
Pete's
we're better off without you.
Pete's like
Oh,
we're done with them.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
We'll put it behind us. We're
In
moving on.
England, that we celebrate. We're done with them bratty kids.
You're like that ex-girlfriend that just won't go away. We've moved on.
It sounds like Pete hasn't been getting much
Green,
sleep
that's
over
better.
the past couple of weeks, is what it sounds like.
All right,
I don't get
guys.
sleep.
Come on. 4th of
Also-
July is our holiday.
Also, shout out to Coliseum of Comics in Orlando, Florida. If you find yourself in Orlando, as most Americans seem to find themselves in Orlando, because they have to come to the House of Mouth. So when you find yourself in Orlando, make your way to Coliseum of Comics on East Colonial and in Claremont. They have Silverline Comics. You need to buy some Silverline Comics when you are in Orlando. So go there. Tell them we sent you. Say, hey, those
that's
folks,
better.
those crazy people from Silverline sent me here to buy Silverline Comics. I want some. And they will point you to where they are.
There's a
And
rack. If I
There's a
remember.
rack. And I don't happen to have one because I don't own one. But when you pick up your comics from, at least for the first ones, when you pick up your comics, Silverline Comics from Coliseum of Comics, you're going to find that you're going to get a slightly different version than everyone else, because it has the Coliseum of Comics logo on it. Coliseum of Comics supports us in such a way that we add their logo to the comics that we deliver to them. So that's always kind of exciting to see that on there. Also, shout out to Orlando Collector Deviants. If you are a fan and a fan of all kinds of science fiction, comic books, fandom, if you're a fan of fandom, you should be following Orlando Collector Deviants. They are a family of fans that go around to mostly shows in Florida, but they sometimes venture out of Florida a little bit, and they show you what's going on at the shows. When you can't go to a show, you should watch Orlando Collector Deviants, and they will show you what you're missing and remind you that you need to make plans to be there the next time they're there. And last but not least, big shout out to Kablam, who, as you can see, they're a printer of our comics. If you are an independent comic book maker and you want your comic book printed, you should look no further than Kablam. They can do all kinds of cool stuff.
I hear they're nice guys, so I don't know.
Here's the thing that here's one of the things that I always pitch about Kablam, right? So when you've got your comic done and you're looking around for printers, one of the things that you're going to find at almost every printer, they're going to say, you got to print a minimum 50 comics. You got to print a minimum 25 comics. You got to print a minimum this, minimum that. At Kablam, you have to print a minimum 1. That's it.
One?
You can print 1.
Could I print 0?
You can't.
For free.
I mean, yeah, you can print 1 you can print 0 for free.
Oh.
You can print one
that may have
copy,
been an option. I didn't know.
which I find very cool, because when you are a small press, when you're an independent comic book maker, a lot of times you can't really afford to print 200 copies. You're like, hey, I'd love to have 200 copies, but I can't afford it. So give me 10, right? And I can take those to a show or a signing or whatever. So if you're an independent comic creator and you need to have your comic printed, look at Kablam, kablam.com. They do good stuff. We have a Kickstarter coming up this Thursday. We're going to have a threefer. It's going to be No new number ones. Oh shoot, who's the fellow that fussed at me? Let me think of his name here. Who's the guy who fussed at me for all the new number ones?
Aaron.
No.
I wonder if Aaron's watching. Hey, Aaron, what's going on, buddy?
No, his name's on the tip of my tongue here. Anyway, so we're gonna have Trumps number 3, Teen Beetle number 2, and Switchblade number 2.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna get the next issues of those. If you're listening to us and you're like, hey, but wait, I didn't get the first issues of those. That's okay. They'll be available. In fact, I was working on something last night to put together a little packet or one of the tier selections, so you didn't have to add them as add-ons. You could say, hey, I want these, but I also want the first issues too, and you can get that as a tier. So I've got that ready for the Kickstarter that will be launching this Thursday. So sock your quarters away, your dollars away, and get ready to back the project. There will be some original art. Still trying to talk to the artist and see if we're going to have some sketches, some commissions. I haven't got confirmation for that yet, but we almost always do. So I'm anticipating we'll have something. But we are going to. Oh, look, here's some of the art right now. We're going to have some of this art from Switchblade by Leonard Kirk and Chuck Bordell.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so some of these pages will be up there. You can see actually Leonard has actually even signed it. That's Leonard Kirk's signature right there. So yeah. All right. So other than Roberta's news, does anybody have any news?
No.
To continue from last week, my eye is healing and doing a little better. So.
Good.
Vision's getting better. They're scheduling the other eye. We should have that done in another week or so. So,
oh wow,
you still
good
calling
to
you
hear.
one
So-
arm. Healing well.
good.
Good.
Glad to hear
The
it.
X-ray vision is working really good.
Hold on, let me hunch over a little bit. There we go.
Yeah. It doesn't work through TV screens though. It has to be.
Oh yeah, it does. I can see.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it does. It's
And
weird.
of course,
Okay.
Really, I paid extra for the internet X-ray vision.
the internet X-ray. Well, of course, that brings us to our topic.
There.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
there you go.
Oh, before we get to our topic, since we can see Roberta's page. Oh, I like the way we can actually see the whole page over on the right.
Yes,
The little thumbnail.
I thought
of
that
it. Yeah.
that would
That's
help
kinda
you
cool.
guys because, yeah, that way I can zoom around quicker and you can see what it looks like as
That's
I'm
very
changing it.
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Speaking of which,
Mhm.
John Drury, who is the penciler for this, who is like the techno. What do you call it? Someone who doesn't have technology, the Luddites. Is that what it is? Right?
Luddite.
Yes.
Yeah. Such a Luddite, right? He
Mhm.
he is worse than you. You guys think about you throw shade at me because I don't really like a cell phone. John does not have Facebook. He's not on Twitter. He doesn't check his email. He does like nothing.
What does he do with all his time? He must have tons of time then.
Well, he works. He works. He does have a couple teenagers, so I'm anticipating that as his because I think I think the teenagers are 17 and 18 now, so I think they're getting close to getting out of the house. And so I think once that happens, he may be more interested because after he received the package, he said, "Oh man, this looks really good." Sirens. He's the guy who did Sirens. Oh, of course, we're looking at Pendulum, but he also penciled Pendulum.
Yeah.
He was like, "Wow, this looks so good." He goes, "It's making me want to draw again." And apparently he hasn't really drawn in the last decade or so.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's been working. So
I
What's
love
that?
to hear him coming back in. That's
yes,
great.
same here. I told him, I said, you should join us on our streams. He goes, I don't even know what streams are. And of course, like he does. Like,
Doesn't have to.
yeah, you should join us sometime. So, so he
Does he at least have a smartphone? Maybe he could do it that way.
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I did actually talk to him on the phone here about a month ago. So I guess probably about the time he got the books, because we actually talked about sirens and how he was really pleased with it. And his kids were like, "Wow, Dad, this is really cool." So yeah,
That's
hopefully we'll get him kind of back in it. And I guess you guys remember Willie Peppers popping on here last week, right?
Oh, he was okay.
Yeah. Last week Willie Peppers popped on here. I put Willie to work.
Oh, nice.
So Willie's got some stuff going on here. So I've always been me personally, I've always been a fan of Willie. You guys, Curtis, you may remember Willie was kind of slated to draw Cat and Mouse way back when, back in the 90s. So I always love Willie stuff. So our topic tonight: is it important to get the science right in comic books? And before Pete gives his one-word answer,
I'm ready to go.
Let's talk about some of the science in comic books and comic books in particular. That's right, and there's science that's right and science that's wrong. What's some good examples of some of that? Obviously, a man can't fly.
So all of comic books is wrong then.
Every powered human
every powered ultra kind of thing is wrong.
So wait, though, hold on.
So no, it doesn't have to be right.
So wait, hold on.
I'm already agreeing with Pete.
Wait, I didn't
you don't know my answer yet. You don't know
That
my
is your answer. We know your answer, Pete.
So obviously we know a man can't fly, but what about Batman, right? Batman's got like reasonable powers because he doesn't have any powers, right? It's just all gadgets.
True.
It's about as believable as.
There you go.
What about James Bond?
Yeah, right.
Science, right? You pull the trigger and.
Right.
He's
but
actually the
you
most
got like Navy SEALs and all that kind of stuff. They do basically it's Batman kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get rid of the crazy batarangs but they have those things, those exist, right?
Yeah.
And then if you get rid of the crazy flame throwing cars with the guns on them, but they've got those, are called tanks. We got all that kind of stuff. So, sort of Batman already kind of exists. So I guess if you're going with Batman.
So let's talk for a minute then about it being believable. Okay. Now,
there's a different subject there.
Well, yeah. So part of what makes comics work, right, is your willing suspension of disbelief. Okay. And what was the kind of the tagline for the Christopher Reeves movie? You will believe a man can fly. Right. And of course, the thing was, we did, because we were with him for the duration of that film. Oven says, "Hello, Silverline family. What's up, Oven? Good to see you here, my friend. Hopefully you got some questions for us." So Jeff is being silly, but I'm going to run through some of his questions. Obviously, his first question is why. Why is the sky blue? There is a scientific answer for that.
There is a reason why the sky's blue.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, we know that one. We know the answer to that.
Yeah, that I mean, there is science behind that. I don't know what it is, but okay. Here's a good one. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Oh, that's right.
Right. Monty Python fans here, right?
Yeah, that was a Python quote that I don't remember the answer to.
I don't remember the answer to that either. If it had been,
but that was like because of they were testing him right on the bridge.
Well, no, that was one of the test questions. Yes, to let them cross questions, or let them cross the bridge. I always know the answer real quick to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? What's the answer 42. To the meaning of life?
Lots of universe and everything. 42.
42. That's right. Yep. Here's a good one though.
Lint or no lint?
what is your favorite color? Of course, he's still quoting Monty. He's still quoting Monty Python, of course. But but that's a good one for this crew. What's your favorite color, Roberta?
It's purple.
Purple. That's an interesting color.
It's a magic color.
But what flavor of purple?
On the bluer side than the pinker side.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Mine's purple too. A grape soda color purple. That's my color.
Great soda color. That's true.
Yeah.
Pete, what about you?
My favorite color?
Yeah.
Blue.
He's looking. What?
Blue.
Blue?
He's looking around.
Yeah.
Blue.
Blue.
The blue that's on Thanos. That was a nice blue.
Okay. All right. That would not have been my guess.
wow.
I would have guessed something different only because I know the character that you like. But
There you go.
Blue.
Curtis, what's your favorite color?
It's a toss-up between infrared and ultraviolet. I haven't really.
Whoa,
There's always one.
Mr.
Pick him
Fancy
off.
Course.
Science guy.
Showing us up, huh?
Yeah. Mine has to be red.
Mm-hmm.
Blue is a close second, but red has to be my favorite color. Yeah.
Yeah, Zomboy is, of course, is purple. My
He is. That's
my
right.
character. Yeah. So purple. I like purple. Purple it is.
Oh, I
And
like purple.
Roberta and I are right. Everybody else is wrong. Well, so Pete, what is the answer to our theme for tonight?
What was the question?
Is it important to get the science right in comic books?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Is it okay? Go ahead, Pete.
The only people who care about science are adults. Kids don't pick up comic books and go, "Oh, I wonder how he can fly."
Right.
I wonder what the science is. They just look
You
at it and
don't
go,
think
"Hey,
so?
he flies. That's cool." Comics are what's cool, not.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're telling, unless you're telling a story, adapting a story from true life, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares why he shoots laser beams from his eyes. He just does it, and it looks cool, and everyone goes, "God, I wish I could do that."
Cool.
So hold on.
Yeah,
now.
Spider-Man
Wait.
can stick to a wall.
Yeah.
I want to disagree with you a little bit.
Yeah, no, everyone thinks, "What is Spider-Man? Does he have little things that come out of his hands that stick?" No, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And when
actually,
they show you that that's what it is, you go, "That's stupid. Let's just think he sticks to the wall and be done with it."
I actually do think people care. I think people
They
care.
don't.
So wait.
Adults
Hold on,
care. No one cares what adults want.
Hold on. I think that I don't think that they. I think they want to know how. They want an explanation, but I don't think it has to be real. Like for me, when I was a
You
kid,
gotta have to explain that one.
well, okay. So for me, when I was a kid, you guys already know, Vision was one of my favorite Avengers. Okay. He had I don't know what they've done to his powers in the last 20 years, but back then, he had the ability to turn intangible, right? And he had the ability to turn, is rock solid, right? Yeah. I wanted to know that I don't have to know how he does. Well, at the time he was, he had the gem that was solar powered. Essentially, that's how he drew his power from the sun. That was before it became one of the Thanos gems.
Infinity Stones.
Yeah. I'm not really sure when they made that addition.
I don't know if that's comics related or that's just the film did that, because I don't read the no. Yeah.
What, the Thanos gem?
I think it's a mind gem, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. In the movies.
I think that's just the film that's done that.
Oh, okay. So they never did that in the comics.
I don't think that's in the comics.
I don't know.
At least I hope not. It doesn't really work in the comics. Yeah.
So for me though, he drew his power from the sun. Okay, cool. That was enough for me, Yeah. But I wanted to know, okay, how is he shooting this ray, right, out of his eyes, and then out of his because he would shoot a more powerful ray out of the gem on his head. And I wanted, as a kid, I wanted to know kind of what it was and what it does and how he does it, but it didn't have to be. I didn't need scientific formulas, I just wanted you to tell me, oh, he draws his power from the sun. Okay, cool.
I think the science has to. On that note, the science has to matter to the science of the world that the character inhabits. It's like, like in Star Wars, there's sound in space. In reality, there is no
Right.
sound in space, right? But as
Yeah.
long as
What?
it's consistent,
What do you
know,
mean? Yeah, there is.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
as long as it's
sure, what are
consistent
you
for the
saying?
world, it's a certain logic to it.
Well, I think it's that it goes back to the idea that willing suspension of disbelief. You have to present it in such a way that you willingly suspend your disbelief in what you know is not true, right?
Yeah.
Like we know a man can't fly, but we're willing to suspend our disbelief when we watch the Vision fly, right? Because he can turn his body lighter than air. He can turn his body intangible. He's lighter than air, and that's what causes him to fly. Okay, cool, right? I'm with that.
We go with it.
We go with it. Yeah. We go with it. And if we sit down and think about it, no, that's impossible. You can't do that. But we just roll with it because we're willing to suspend our disbelief. So Pete, when you say nobody cares, so I'm gonna make you think a little bit here. So, or no, I'm sorry. When you say kids don't care, adults care, do you think it's that adults aren't willing to suspend their disbelief, or or do you think kids are willing to suspend their disbelief more so than adults, or do you think
and also
legitimately
think
is just they don't care?
The answers need to understand. So overthink things. I think adults they overthink stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think kids do. You, like you said, you're just happy that you understood. Oh, he got his powers from the sun.
Yep,
that's enough.
That's enough.
Adults that can go, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. How does that work? How, and then they start thinking, well, how does his body absorb that sun, and how does it turn into?
Then it all falls apart.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
they start trying to figure out the science behind how that. It's the science behind comic books.
Right. The subject for this show is does the science have to be right, for it to work? And it's like, well, we know that doesn't work, so obviously the science doesn't have to be right.
Right? But if it's close, it's no,
that's not even close.
Different.
It doesn't exist. Shooting lasers out of your eyeballs. I mean, I lied about the X-ray vision. You know that, right? I don't have an X-ray eyeball.
Right, Curtis is like, ooh, I can take this lead line out of my shirt.
Yeah, I don't have to explain the leopard print to you, so that's good then.
No, you sent me a photograph. Now you have to explain why you sent me the photo.
Hey, I need somebody to ink my book. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying the tonight's topic was poorly worded then, Tommy?
No. I don't think. I think that we can pretend like it's a made-up science to work for the thing, and I think that's all that really matters. I don't think it has to actually work, is what I'm saying. We all know that the sun's not making somebody from another planet come to our planet and fly around. We know that that's not going to work, or at least as of today. But but so we don't. So my answer to the question of the stream is no. You don't have to. It's a made up science. It's kind of it's fine. It's so like when we got characters like Doctor Strange and stuff. It's all magic. So it's the same thing. We're just calling it something else. So it's a fun story. We don't have to. It doesn't have to be real. We already know that it's not supposed to be real. It's fine. I just ruined it, didn't I? Sorry.
I'd be curious to ask,
Okay, we're done.
We're done.
Go ahead.
No, but it still works. It just works just as fine. I think.
What I'd be curious is when does it fall apart, right? Because we all know there's times where that falls apart, or we don't believe it anymore. Is that just when the story is not strong? Is that when there's too many asks of the readership? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? When is too much too much? When is it too far to bend? I'm asking for a friend, by the way.
No, I don't think it's ever too. It's just once it gets to be a dumb, silly story, and we just don't care anymore. I think it can just keep going on and on and on. I don't. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it being the answer being no. I think it's fine. It's great.
Well, I do think that I don't know. There are times I know that and of course Pete's going to say it's because I'm an adult, but I feel about myself that I am, and of course I think we all are, because that's what we're here, right? We're all making comic books, and so I think we all fall outside the norm, quote unquote, adulting. But I think there are times, and I would say this is probably a bad story for my answer to Curtis. But there are times when I'm watching, I'm like, okay, all right, I don't believe this. For me, that's not usually about science. It's more usually about character. You know, I have a tendency to roll with the science, even though sometimes I do have questions. But I think for me, when something falls apart for me, it's more about character and the way I see a character act or react or something like that than when I see science.
Sure.
Okay, Open brought up an interesting point here. He goes, that's an interesting thing with Superman's ability to fly, because at first he was just jumping, and now DC has said he manipulates gravity to fly. Which, if you know anything about Superman, is absolutely 100% true. You remember that, you know, when the Superman cartoons came on, it said able to faster than a speeding bullet, you know, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Superman did not have the ability to fly when he was first created, right? When he first debuted. I wonder who the first flying character was. Anybody know that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I know Superman got the ability to fly in the 50s when they didn't care about him, and they were just letting him. That's when he became all powerful, because they wrote themselves into corners because no one was buying it at the time, and so they're like, yeah, we don't care what happens to Superman. But I don't know what the first flying character was. Would it have been? Well, Wonder Woman didn't
flying
fly.
under some sort of
Green Lantern, yeah. Or Submariner.
Yeah.
Oh, Submariner, yeah.
I guess so.
There was a
Human Torch. Human Torch.
Human Torch. That's got to be it. It's got to be the Human Torch. Yeah.
There was a skit on an old comedy sketch show called the I forget what it's called, but they basically were doing it where all the superheroes met, and there was one superhero that they brought into it to talk to him, like to the Justice League, because he was flying the wrong way. He was flying standing straight up instead of laying flat down. Yeah. And I think that's an example, right? Where you know, Superman, they kind of took the first hit, or Human Torch, whatever, and then that became the visual, right? Is that he's laying flat, and it would look weird if somebody's just standing straight up flying, right?
Flying like this,
even though it's not possible, right?
Well, flying kind of like Roland's favorite character, Vision. Doesn't Vision just fly like?
Yeah, he does that.
Like levitate.
Well, Iron Man does too when he wants to.
Yeah. Or just fly laid on your back instead of on your stomach. So
yeah, that's right. To fly it upside down.
Right?
It's always feet first, you know.
Yeah, you're flying. Yeah, that would work.
Oh, look at this. This is Oven. Look at that. Thanks, Oven. Oven says Google says Namor was the first flying character. So so
flying was. Like under their own power or flying with a jetpack, or
he had little wings on his ankle.
Yeah.
Does he still have them, or did they finally outphase that? Is that even
I don't know if
I think he still got them.
I think he still got them. Yeah, I would think so. Otherwise, how does he fly?
Yeah.
There are questions that you can't answer without the science working.
I can believe he swims underwater and breathes, but breathes water.
That's right.
You lost me right there.
We know that works. Fish do it all the time. It works fine for them.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Hello. All right, guys, I've got to be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Tell Mama hi.
Oh, let me just put me on mute and I'll stop the.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the Rocketeer? How old is the Rocketeer? Because he flew under a jetpack. Now
he's old.
I consider that science that actually exists. You see people flying around with those jetpacks and blowing up and all that kind of stuff. So that works, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rocketeer was created in 1982.
Oh, really? God,
Yeah.
I thought that was way older than that.
But
No,
it
just
was
styled to be older.
it was yes,
That makes
it was
sense.
based off of King of the Rocket Man,
Serial.
which was a 1950s serial. But I'm trying to find where that might be. King of the Rocket Man, 1949.
Wow.
We say hello, everybody.
Hey!
Oh,
Can you blow the picture up, bro?
Yep.
We gotta change your nap.
I gotta
baby.
move my window.
little Thomas
Look at the little feet.
She's like,
She's not sure what to think of
Who are
us,
those
but
people? What's all this sound from?
like, are these more people that I have to say hi to?
We gotta go and change your nappy, so we'll be 2 minutes.
Some game symbols.
Aw, hi.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
Cute.
I'm glad he did that.
Oh, me too.
Oh, now we're done for sure. Now we're
Yeah. Oh crap! There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
So
If you don't stack it right, I can't see you guys.
To what?
Roland and his changing window sizes.
Sorry.
Take away make believe science type stuff and actual gadget type of science type of thing. So what of those? What like Iron Man's suit, Batman's gadgets, Inspector Gadget, kind of hardware kind of stuff. So what about those sciences? Can we say that do those, when you see a show with that kind of hardware science, does that have to work properly for you to believe it, or you go, that just doesn't work either?
For me, I think it just has to be believable. So I have
to read right. Yeah,
I have to be able to make that sort of leap that, yes, okay, I'm willing to kind of because of course this, Tommy. I'm a huge fan of science fiction, and I like to, part of the favorite science fiction I like to read. I love to read science fiction short stories from the 30s, 40s, 50s. Right? I just love that era of science fiction. And if you look back on a lot of the stuff that they predicted so many things.
They predicted a lot.
I mean, and part of it is I think a lot of those early science fiction writers were scientists themselves, and so they were kind of on the cutting edge of knowledge, and were able to say, okay, we're able to do this. Let me project into the future what we might be able to do. And they were able to kind of anticipate that. And now we get it. I mean, you look at Star Trek, right? Star Trek is one of the things I talk about all the time. Captain Kirk used his little flip phone, right?
Yeah, they all had those.
They all had those, the communicators. And then and now we're far beyond that. And now we're going to Dick Tracy, right? Dick Tracy had his little wristwatch.
But no one saw the internet coming.
No.
Of all those writers, no one that I know.
Isn't that funny?
Well, I would venture to say too that is where science gets inspiration from. It's like
they inspire each other actually.
Yeah. It's like I was talking to this one Sifu he's a grandmaster, and his student, his name is Sifu Kisu. He's the guy that did all the choreography for the Avatar: The Last Airbender shows.
Oh, cool.
And his teacher actually worked in weapon systems for the government. Wow. And so he would be in meetings, and all of a sudden people would start talking about, well, what if we could do this? And somebody would say, yeah, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. And he would go, did you know that my student is the one that did that? Oh, so sometimes it's to the other, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, that lasers have been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, like real legitimate laser have been around. Now, they're not the kind of like lasers that shoot and blast holes through the walls yet, right? but lasers exist, and so somebody has got to be working on on a lightsaber. Somebody's got to be working on.
I was going to bring up the lightsaber thing. I've been watching a bunch of videos. Like, this is just really weird that you brought that up. There's people on YouTube that are trying to make lightsabers, and they're really close.
Yeah,
they're not like what you see in Star Wars, but they're really close to making these plasma sword type things that are really cool.
Well, and see, I think people. I think people are inspired. Science is inspired by fiction, I think. So when we can create something, science goes, hey, how can we make this a reality? Can we make a lightsaber? How would we do that? Oven says Wonder Woman's invisible jet. Talking about the fact that it's invisible, right? Science. Classic sci-fi had high hopes for us. The original Blade Runner was set in 2019. Wow, I didn't realize it was set in 2019.
Yeah, Blade Runner did a lot of predictions and inspired a lot of technology.
Yeah, well, Blade Runner was that's Philip K. Dick, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of his short stories, on film.
Yeah.
Did we finish answering your question, Tommy?
Yeah, close enough. I was just trying to bring up another side to it. I think we can, I think it's sort of the same. To answer my own question, it's you see little crazy little like lightsabers or whatever, and you're like, okay, I don't think that really works, but I still think it's pretty cool. So I think we'll let it go. We'll let it work.
Okay. Well, So I was like 11 or 12 when first Star Wars came out. I did not question the lightsaber at all.
No, neither did I. I just thought it was cool. I was the whole time. As little kids, we were like, let's
it's a sword. It's a laser. That's cool. I'm in. Let's go.
It's a laser sword. What's so difficult about that?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Well, controlled by the Force, but
But then they started. Even that they started going. Oh well, there's these kyber crystals, and then depending on which kyber crystal you get, it depends on the color and it influences. It's like it's just a laser sword.
Right.
Well, that's like the midichlorians. The midichlorians is like we didn't really need that explanation. I didn't need that explanation.
Nobody.
Yeah, that was dumb. That was. I always thought so. I'm like, you don't need to go that far. We're going with it without that.
Well, and there may be a question for you. Do you think that sometimes the sequels are kind of what ruins some of this stuff that we believe we're willing to suspend our disbelief with the first one.
They try to explain it,
and then the second. What's that?
Speaking about lightsabers and that stuff, I was all fine with the red, blue, and the green, but when they gave him a purple one.
Yeah.
Oh, purple lightsaber!
No, it can't.
That threw you off.
Purple. I know he's Samuel L. Jackson, but no, purple lightsaber. No.
Yeah. Yeah, because it doesn't really make sense in the color wheel, right? The color chart.
I know they've introduced white ones now, to like
and the black one,
and the black saber. Yeah, okay, but purple.
That's too
I'm not okay with that.
How about a camouflage color one?
Camouflage saber.
Camouflage. That's for the redneck Jedi.
That's right.
Duck Dynasty Jedi.
Hey, Cassisi says the Predator's cloaking ability. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
They're working on that. That's pretty close.
Yeah. Well, also we've seen that cloaking ability with the helicarriers for Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Also in Star Trek, the Klingons, right? Klingons had the cloaking ability.
Yeah.
Cassisi says, think they made a garment that can mirror what's behind you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
Yes,
got
that's what I have.
that already works. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, because it's not making you invisible. It's just making it so the light bends around you. So
yeah, it cloaks. It's a cloaking device.
I mean, technically, it does what it said it's supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so there is a difference between being invisible and being cloaked, right? You're
It's not Harry
Mhm.
Potter cloak.
So
Whoops.
speaking of Harry Potter, then, okay, so
That's
what
real.
about
It's all real.
what about magic? All right, how does magic fall into? Roberta's now showing us her.
Yeah. Yeah, my screen here. Well, it quit on me. So I'm
Really?
gonna have to go. Well, let's try stopping screen then. Sorry.
It's okay.
No, I don't know what I pressed. I do not know. But something selected it and then unshared. Photoshop.
I'm glad we didn't have your dirty web page that you were on before you.
Yeah, this one?
Right.
Great.
Oh.
Ha!
Close my eyes.
Yeah, this one.
I don't know. No, I was kidding.
Who was playing on my computer before I got in here? I don't know who it was.
Let's see what
I
I
have
can
to
do.
talk to my wife about why she was on my iPad.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the file just quit. That might be what happened.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Because it didn't hide. Although it opened up real quick, so I don't know.
So what about magic? How does magic fall into kind of the science discussion?
Well, I always, if I'm ever doing magic, then you just have to have rules to the magic, right? So you have that. It can't just be lawless, because then there's no limit to what you could do. Basically, I could just make you all disappear with a click of my fingers.
Right.
But if there's a price to using magic, which they say there should be a price for using it, then that makes constraints and gives it rules and laws to which it has to obey. So otherwise, it's do what you like with
it. But so in like our whole sort of sciencey discussion, are you willing? Is this something that you're kind of willing to roll with, or when?
Well, of course, you can't read comics and then go, oh, hang on a minute. I'm okay with the dude flying and shooting lasers out of his eyes, but this guy's casting spells. I don't think so. That's not realistic. Look at the cape on him. That's too big a cape. That cape's too big.
There's a whole gaggle of people that don't like capes on superheroes, and I'm like, what the heck? I know that if we're talking about things that aren't real, man, if I had those kind of powers, I'd get me a great old big cape.
Why not?
Right?
Why not?
Because it looks cool.
Also, the thing is visually, of course, it accentuates the movement of the flight, and that's why it's.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what comics are. They look cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, I think, one of the things that Pete said when we first started. Right? It's cool.
It's cute.
It looks cool.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a discussion one time, or maybe I was listening to someone talk about it one time. Do you sacrifice when you're drawing? Is it about looking cool, or is it about drawing what's real?
I think it's a balance. I mean, I like the rule where you say you get one just because it's cool on a character design. Like there's one thing you can do, like, okay, he has a fish tank on his head because it looks cool, or he has a cape.
That's cool. What it is.
But if he has a fish tank, a cape, spikes, platform shoes, and a didgeridoo, a little too far. Didgeridoo.
And a what? A didgeridoo.
Aboriginal instrument from Australia.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that's called.
It's my new character.
Didgeridoo.
Oh, really? A didgeridoo player?
That's actually not a bad name.
I like it.
Roberta, did you crash again?
No, I guess if I press the space bar, it just quits.
Really?
It closes and quits. I was like, oh. So I did it twice, and now I know it was the space bar. I can't imagine why they would program it that way, but that's something I can get around, no problem. It's just funny to know. I press the space bar very often, so I'll have to just try not to.
Wow. So one bit of science that I know that I roll with all the time and I know that it's not, I know that it's not legit, and I roll with it in science fiction, is faster than light travel.
Bothers you?
Oh no.
No, well, not no. The answer to that is not usually no, because I know what it is, and it only bothers me if maybe if it's not addressed. If I'm like, okay, we're out. I don't know. I can't think of any good examples now. But I don't know if it's 2050 and the home planet was Earth, and wait, the home planet is Earth. How did you get there in 2050? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I need some splaining. You got to do some splaining to me. Yeah, it's the whole faster than light. Again, I'm okay to roll with it, but often I kind of need you to tell me just a little bit something. Give me a little
Is
something.
enough
Something.
to say that this particular story has that kind of space travel that works, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Just
Do you mean to establish it?
yeah. All they have to
Yes.
say is it works in this particular storyline, and that's enough to make your head go, okay, it works. So let's go with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, again, I've read a lot of science fiction in which they attempt to scientifically explain how, well, this is what happens. We have the matter up in front of us, and then we displace the matter, and the ship moves into the place vacated by the matter, and you're like, wait, what? It's like, we can move faster than light. Okay, cool. I'm with that.
How important is it to you, especially in science fiction, because there's always a scene where they walk by the laboratory and there's the whole exposition of them explaining everything. How much is that important, or something like at least the Blade Runner movie where there isn't a ton of exposition, you just know things happen the way they do?
I think it depends on if it's central to the story or not. If the part of the story is, you need to explain how they've got this place so fast, then yeah. If it's Star Wars, it's
or
not central.
If hyperspace and then jump.
Travel faster than speed, or they go speed of light. It's not central. It's known as hard sci-fi and soft sci-fi, isn't it? So you've got hard sci-fi, which is really embedded in science theory and the laws of science, and you got soft sci-fi, which is just space opera sort of stuff.
I always called it science fiction, science fact.
Yeah.
Ooh. You're gonna make people mad at us now.
Maybe.
What about time travel? It doesn't matter how they explain it. Every time I get to do a time travel story, when I start thinking about it, it just messes my head up.
Yeah.
Oh, I've loved it.
I like time travel stories.
It's one of
I just
my
don't
favorite
see how
kinds of things.
I just don't see how they can exist. And then because my head starts.
You don't believe in the multiverse either, so I mean.
That's right. Yeah.
No, I guess a time travel story where they're saying that things work the way that we believe that they work here.
That's what H.G. Wells did, and it was amazing because it's a lot to ask.
Yes. Yeah.
And you'd want to study it.
Right. Yeah.
And what goes wrong?
Completely apart.
Well, it's like what goes wrong about it. It's like where's the line of, what would you do if you could go anywhere? Would you actually have a good idea? And how important is it that you fix something? Which I think, it's just a lot of humanity questions in time travel.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's often asked is like, if you could go back in time and you could change something, the whole butterfly effect thing, you could change something. Would it really, like if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would that change history? I mean, or would it happen through somebody else,
Yeah, I kind of like those type of time travel stories where they, You know, if you change something, then something else happens to make it so it happens the same way anyway.
You're right.
Kind of thing. And then my brain unclenches, you know, my butt releases, and it's like, okay, all right, fine. Yeah, that's fine. I can deal with that.
What was the question, Curtis?
No, what I was going to say. No, I was just question is.
I was going to answer it.
What is the how important is the exposition? But before we get there, real quick, just tee off what Tommy's saying. With you guys talking about time travel. Before there's that is the funny thing is I think back to the Greek tragedies, right? Oedipus Rex is almost like a time traveling story because he finds out the story about what's going to happen in the future by prophecy, tries to undo it and makes it fulfilled. So it's kind of interesting that parallel. But the question was exposition. You know, how much is too much, how much is necessary when you're trying to explain the science of whatever, you know.
So all right. So my answer is going to frustrate some people, but the answer is just enough. Okay. I find that often writers will go either in one of two directions. They'll either over explain it and tell you far more than you really need to know, or they don't tell you anything and you're like, I need to know a little something, you know. I need that little kernel that keeps me going. And the question or the hard part about being the writer of that is figuring out what's enough. It has to serve, you know, one of the biggest problems that a lot of you know, Curtis, you've said this on stream before, so I'm going to use you as an example too. One of the biggest problems a lot of writers have when they want to tell a story is they think there's a lot of stuff in the front of the story that they have to tell you before they start the story. Generally, that's not the case. I don't need to know all of that. You're front loading me with material and information that I don't need. You're bogging down your narrative. You know, you're wanting to tell this story, but you're bogging it all down by trying to front load all this stuff up front. And you know, I think a lot of times exposition is the same way. It's like, you got to give me enough, right, so that I can understand, but you don't need to put encyclopedic entries in for me. I don't really need that, right?
Got a glossary in the back.
What's that?
You got a glossary in the back of the comic book, and that's enough.
Yeah. Cassisi says Dune, folding space was done well. I agree. Yeah. They created a resource and basically said we can do this because of this resource. Yeah. And you know, that's really kind of all we needed, you know.
So let's just go back to the magic thing. As long as you've got laws and everything works within that. Yeah. I can't just say, oh, it does it because hey, it's magic, you can do anything. That's not when people don't believe that. You tell them, oh, you can only do this and this because of this. You know, okay, that makes sense.
And that's the problem I think I've always had with magic is that bad writers are like, oh, it's just magic, you can do anything. Well, I'm not willing to believe that. I need to believe that there are some parameters to it. There's some, you know, like you said, some kind of cost, something, you know, because we don't exist. There's nothing that we can do here currently, right? That you can just do whatever, whenever. That doesn't exist. And so when you present magic in that kind of way, well, then I'm not willing to believe that either. It's like, no. What, you know, does it drain your life source? Does it come from a rune? Does it, you know, is your power in your wand? You know, do you have to say the words in the right order? Or you could, you know, what, you know what I mean? Is that I need some sort of, I need some sort of kind of explanations to roll with it.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the doc, we were talking about Alan Moore before the show, but there's a documentary called the Mindscape of Alan Moore, deeply fascinating documentary. And he talks about, because he's in the occult, but he talks about his view of magic. Yeah, it's fascinating. What he says is, he goes, magic is the ability to use symbols, words, and imagery to create an altered state of consciousness. He goes, that's why you spell words. You have to cast a spell so that the words create a different consciousness in people, just like a writer does. And it was like, whoa, you know, just like
deep, man.
It's crazy but amazing. You know? Really deep.
And before I can understand any more of that, I need another joint.
Yeah, exactly. and after.
Right. Oh, Cece says, well soft. Okay. Soft magic works with little explanation. Gandalf doesn't really explain his limits. Mm-hmm. And then he says, hard magic systems are better, in my opinion, as you guys are talking about. Yeah. So he's kind of agreeing with us. We need some sort of explanations.
I think Assisi hit on a good point there, which is if it's something more mundane, whether it's magic or sci-fi, we'll accept that there's a different type of gun that shoots lasers or something like that. But the bigger the ask, the bigger the explanation. So the bigger the spell, the bigger the jump in technology, that would require a bigger explanation. So I think that harkens back to what you were saying about just enough. But, so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you think, Peter Pan, one of my favorite Disney cartoons, how do they fly?
Yeah. Yeah.
They sprinkle a little fairy dust on them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
There's fairies.
They're a fairy that exists.
I was all about that. Okay, cool. Yeah. How do they fly? Well, Tinkerbell sprinkles fairy dust on them. That's how they fly. All right. Well, cool.
All right,
I'm with that. I believed it. I rolled with it.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel the exposition is always front loading the plot. Like nowadays when I watch a movie and they start explaining something like, oh, that's going to show up later. That's going to be what they're going to need to use to kill the bad guy, or there's that too.
Yeah. So is there a good way to do time travel, Tommy? Let's get back to the time travel thing. Is there?
I press the space bar. Sorry.
What?
Can we time travel back a minute or two?
Sorry. Ignore that.
I
Tommy,
think,
you want to share?
Sure. Let me get this going up. No, I don't think you can explain time travel. Because it just, like I said, it always just messes up my head. Okay, let me try to get this screen.
Sure. I mean, the Avengers Endgame, it got complicated because of all the time travel stuff.
That was a rough
one. When I see time travel, I'm like, oh, this. I just don't doubt to how that works.
Yeah,
I like time travel when it's easy,
simple
stuff. Yeah, simple stuff like in the Bill and Ted movie, time travels were really cool. Where it's like, I need an extra $5, so I'm gonna look under here, and there's there it is, and then I just have to remember, next week to put that $5, go back in time, put the $5 there to make sure. I like those kind of time travel things where it's not serious, but when it's you're like you were saying in the X-Men movies or the when they went back to fix the snap and all that kind of stuff, and with the Thanos stuff and all that craziness, and then all of a sudden Marvel starts introducing all of the multiverse things. Did Thanos kill all the people over, or in those multiverse universes too? Did those guys? Because those guys didn't seem to realize that they got the big snap went on too. So it just gets
no.
They didn't.
No.
Well, of course he did. That's all one big multi.
No,
it happened everywhere.
Of course not. No, what a ridiculous comment. What happens in this universe stays in this universe.
Yeah,
you can't. No. I mean, I'm sorry. No. Right. the Infinity Gauntlet is individual to each universe.
Yeah.
No, it's that silly thing to say that I went
time
back
travel and multiverse theory are not the same thing at all.
Yeah. No,
I agree. I was just trying to
put him off.
Think about accidentally going back in time and killing your grandfather. So then, how did you go back in time?
This is a serious discourse, and we're bringing it down.
Flipping around, it's just so stupid. I so picky. Now going into the future, now that would work. That would be cool.
Cassisi offers this about time travel. He says, I think no explanation is the best. How I'm here is beyond your ability to understand. I think the why of the future person's present should take over my thought more. Like Terminator, I don't care how Reese got here, just why.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's just not worry about it. Do it, but don't try to explain it because it just doesn't work.
I mean, I think the best time travel film was Back to the Future, wasn't it? And explained it perfectly.
Yes.
You had to hit 88 miles an hour.
That's right.
In a DeLorean. And there were some nuclear reactors in the car, but it all made sense. You're like, perfect.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Makes sense.
It was good. It was goofy science, and we believed it.
That's right.
That's all we needed. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Time Machine. H.G. Wells. Roberta mentioned H.G. Wells earlier.
Yeah.
H.G. Wells' Time Machine. I have no idea how that worked. He just got in the time machine, set the dial to the year, and pushed the button, and away he went.
Yeah, but it wasn't a story. It wasn't like a Star Trek story where that was integral to what was going on in the story. He was just kind of going back in time, and you saw things happening. And he's like, oh, this is cool. I get to see dinosaurs, blah, 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 blah. But now when you're doing stuff where the storyline, whereas I have to go back in time to go get the thing, and I accidentally can't make sure I don't cross with myself because it's going to be some kind of crazy thing that everybody's going to explode. Their brains are going to go everywhere. Yeah, no, I don't like those stories.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I will segue briefly on the multiverse because and we may have said this on here before, but one of the reasons I didn't buy DC Comics as a kid was because they had the multiverse. And I didn't like that. There was why was there 10 Batmans, right? I wanted one Batman. I don't want Batman on all the other Earths, right? I didn't start buying DC until they had Crisis, right? Which is when it took all the multiverses and crunched them into one world.
Yeah,
I was on board for that, and I bought DC for quite a few years after that. And now Marvel's doing the exact same thing that DC did, and I'm sitting there thinking, guys, weren't y'all paying attention? Don't you know what DC did in the 80s? Are you just not paying attention at all? And I don't think they are. Yeah. So all these different multiverses things. I realize I might be in the minority, but I'm not a fan of the multiverse.
I like it as a novelty, but when it becomes the end all be all, then it kind of gets convoluted because then you don't have any commitment, right? You don't have any stakes. I mean.
I like the what if. The what if was great.
Yeah, and
that was good.
Harking back to what we were back in the day with Malibu, that was the cool thing in the beginning was Malibu's Ultraverse was like there was a story Bible, there was a whole concrete narrative until Marvel bought them out.
Yeah,
but I think that's important.
Yeah. What other kind of science?
So we were talking H.G. Wells and the invisibility thing. Invisible Man was redone a couple of years ago, and they tried to add quite a bit of science to it, and that looked kind of believable in a way.
Yeah.
If it were,
it
wasn't bad.
I don't remember.
Did anyone see that?
No,
I didn't see that.
That was these camera cells inside the fabric.
Oh.
And all of them, could coordinate to mimic what would be the background.
So it's more like cloaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, because I think the original, it's been a year since I read it, but the original was all about a serum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot
believable.
Yeah, a lot of those old classic science fictions is all about serums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this story here that I'm coloring.
Yeah,
about serum.
It is. Yeah.
All about you don't need to know why. He's working really hard getting that right.
Here's Oven says, when black holes are observed, scientists have noticed it's not destroying matter, but making it disappear entirely, leading to a theory that parallel worlds exist.
Yes. The idea is that they're sucking stuff and in another universe it's ejecting it out.
Someplace.
So there's a theory. There's black holes. There's white holes. So black holes suck in matter, and white holes shoot out matter.
That's a nice
idea. It's all theoretical.
Yeah.
People explain why the universe continues to expand. Well, no, it doesn't expand. That's because of a Big Bang. Yeah. Speak to a scientist.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist.
And,
you just play one on TV.
What does your hat say you are?
Just a penciler.
Just a penciler. Yeah. No, the funny thing is, I am, of course, like a lot of us here, I love science fiction. I love the on a clear starry night to go out and just stand there and look at the stars and go, man, all those universes up there, how cool is that? All those galaxies, I should rather say. I guess we're all one universe. It's just so many up there, and then to realize, yeah, there's no way I can travel there.
Kind of depressing a little bit, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. We just watched BJ and I just finished watching Independence Day, and then Independence Day, the second one, what was that called? Resurgence or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just finished watching those, and it's basically an alien spaceship shows up out of nowhere, and they have to fight the aliens. It's like, yeah, okay. And of course, this is another example of it never explains where it came from. They just showed up, right? There they are, boom. They didn't see them coming. And of course, y'all know we have the technology to spot these things now, right?
They're hiding behind the moon.
Right, they're hiding behind the moon.
They have been there the entire time. They've been there before we developed all of this technology.
It must have been behind the moon. Yep, that makes sense, actually. You could hide a lot behind that moon.
Yeah, we don't really look.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you get to thinking about it as like, even the closest known, planets are so far from us. Yeah, we're not going there. I keep thinking, man, Elon is going to send us to Mars, and I'm so ready for that to happen.
Well, we have to figure out how to make those cryopods happen. That's the science that we're missing.
Yeah. So is somebody working on that? Y'all know? I would imagine.
No one's got it.
No, I wouldn't know what's got it, but I imagine they're working on it, right?
Hope so.
Yeah. What about when they get science right? Kind of like the Martian movie. You remember the one with the
Matt Damon?
Yeah. Oh. Where they sort of got it right. It was that was pretty cool. They got most of all that sort of right, didn't they?
Yeah,
y'all seen it, haven't you?
Well, it's believable.
Yeah, that was an explanation of what.
Somewhat.
I mean, it was exaggerated, but it was an explanation of what you could do
theoretically.
But that wasn't too far. It wasn't like hundreds of years in the future. That was like near future, so they could base it on what we have now,
right?
And then just extrapolate. So that was okay. I also liked Interstellar.
Mm-hmm. I like that one. Remember that one?
Matthew McConaughey, the black hole trouble, which was cool because I think they based out quite a lot on theory. I think they even came up with their own math to explain the black hole behavior. But that's why I think you can believe that bit at the end where it just went a bit mental. You're like, well, it's all been fairly solid up till now, so I'm going to go with this crazy bit.
I'd be curious to ask you guys, this is kind of like a trope that's happened in recent decades, which is the aliens reveal themselves to us, but because they're so foreign to us, they come out just looking like a guy who's a greeter at Walmart, because that doesn't freak you out because they look like a normal human. I always feel like that's a cop-out budget-wise on the film.
I do too.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I feel that way as well. Because Cece says he loves the robots in Interstellar. I don't know that I remember Interstellar.
Yeah,
if I've
seen it. It's good. That's a borderline hard sci-fi film.
Huh. Yeah, I have to check that one out. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Yeah, like the aliens in Independence Day. They were sort of loosely the classic, big-headed aliens. They didn't speak. Whose dog is that?
That's
Not mine.
Sophie. Or Bella. Or Gabby. I'm sorry. Gabby. Hold on. There's people outside. I'll take care.
I heard the dog all of a sudden. Like, what? Yeah, so they had these smaller faces, but they fanned back into big long, big kind of tubes on their head.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the kind of the classic, little green man, little gray alien kind of thing.
Was the sequel any good? I never saw the sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it was missing Will Smith. Yeah. But yeah, it was okay. I mean, it was it was a fun little Independence Day. I wouldn't say marathon. It wasn't a marathon. We watched one yesterday and one today. So, but yeah, it was fun.
It's cool.
Yeah, we rented it for $3.99 on Amazon. So
that's worth it.
yeah, we got our $3.99 worth.
Like like the dog in the first one where the dog has that scene where it's running away from the explosion. You get to see the dog in slow motion.
Oh yeah, Jump. It's like
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. She doesn't like your neighbors, Tommy. Well, I could have run out of questions about science, y'all.
Robots, androids.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Which ones do you think are believable? Which ones do you like your robots metallic? Do you like your robots wrapped in synthetic human flesh?
What's cool or what's
and why are robots that are synthetic flesh? Why are they always good looking? Why are there never like a guy that looks like a really old weathered cabbie on the outside?
You know the answer to that, don't you?
I'm just saying they blend in better. They blend in.
I mean, why are all comic book characters? Why are they all hot?
Yeah,
muscly in, because that's what we ideally.
That's right.
If you're gonna create something, make it hot. Let's face it, we're about 10 years away from having sex robots.
Oh man, the Japanese are so onto that.
Yeah, won't be long.
Yeah, they have them already, I'm sure.
Yeah,
they do actually.
They pretty much do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think the robots like Data from Star Trek, right? Mm-hmm. Those were always very cool to me because they were the androids, and it was more of an android. The Vision, right, was an android, a synthesoid, right? He wasn't a robot, and so Data was an android and not a robot. I've always thought the ones that look human are pretty cool because that's what they're working on now, right? Yeah. I know they're working on that. So to imagine that they have perfected that in 100 years, it's believable to me. Yeah, okay, you can do that. You've seen these. What's the robot company that's always putting out the videos of these little
Boston Dynamics.
Yes, Boston Dynamics.
They're like abusing those things, and once they reach the singularity, we're done for.
Right? This is for all those times you kicked me and shot me and threw me off buildings. Yeah. Those videos are really cool.
Yeah. The one that's creepy is you see that one looks like a quadruped and it's opening up doors. Like that is eerie. That is so eerie.
It is. Yeah, and they'll push them, and they'll maintain their balance and yeah.
Did you hear, like, was it Google or some company? They had two AIs and they had them talking to each other, and the two AIs ended up creating their own language.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's so creepy.
So cool.
And so they shut them down.
Well, they shut them down.
Yeah. That's the story anyway.
That's where we all end up dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Terminator life, right?
Yeah.
Roberta's had some great great one-liners tonight.
Yeah.
That's where we end up.
That's how we're going to end up there.
Yeah. Well,
right.
don't forget, we don't use this much anymore, but if you go to Twitch, you can clip these things, right? You can clip, I think, up to 60 seconds. So I used to try to go over there and clip some of these things, but I haven't been over there probably in, good grief, 8 months or something to clip anything. So you guys, when you hear something like that, don't forget to go over there and clip it, because you can keep that little 60-second clip, right? And you can use that promotional-wise. The videos disappear on Twitch. They're up on YouTube forever, but they'll disappear on Twitch after about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But the clips will stay there for forever.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look over.
Let's work on that. I want to quote.
I think I've got
a few good ones.
Yeah, I think we've got a quote from you. I've got to go look, but I do think there's.
We had that one from Barb about defending herself with a bladed weapon at a convention. That was
yes.
That was a
the one where we got kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, no clips were created in this time. What? No. I know we got it. Oh, all time. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. We haven't had a clip here in a while. So yeah, you guys get over there and make some clips. And hey, it doesn't have to just be us. Because CC, if you're still on there, you can go clip. Oven, you can clip something. Anybody can go on there that has Twitch, can make a clip of something that they like. Oh yeah, I clipped a special guest star Thomas Flatamani.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Peter has the power to make holes.
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a few. Oh, look, here we go. Robert says, "Hail Lord Zanu and hail Princess Xenu, our only true savior. Scientology can help you with scientific techniques for every challenge in life."
Oh, no.
Wow.
Just to get the personality test, right?
That's right. All right, so my clock here says we've been running for an hour and 27, and my clock says 9:23. So we're getting to the end zone here. So in summation, Pete answered this earlier, but we're going to sum it up anyway, because since it's the end of the stream now. Is it important to get the science right in your comic books? Pete?
Unless your comic book is about a specific science fact, no.
Okay. Curtis?
No, but it has to be consistent to the story, to the rules of the story.
Okay. Tommy?
I ditto both of those. Exactly. Yeah. If it makes sense, let it go.
If it makes sense, let it go. Roberta?
Right. No, if it makes sense and the story holds up without it being distractingly strange. If it's more important than the characters, then try to make it more true or more believable. But if the characters are driving it, then it doesn't matter the setting, as long as you gloss over the facts and don't explain it when it's totally impossible to explain. Because that's what you were talking about earlier, when the exposition goes overboard.
Yeah.
There's got to be a fine line before we're bored of the setup. So it doesn't have to be right science. It just has to not be distracting to what we actually care about.
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely. And
there's always going to be those haters that are like, that would never happen. Always.
Yeah. So when you have those that would never happeners, do you think that do they usually say that in regards to science or character? What do you think?
Science.
I think that character would.
There's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
This is another topic.
My answer to that
is another topic with character. Yeah.
Yeah. My answer to them is always, well, we should watch a movie about your life then, you know?
Yeah.
Your life's so interesting.
No. Oh, listen, one of the worst things you can ever hear as an editor is to have someone talking about their story. And when you say, you know what, this doesn't make sense here. It's not, or it's not very exciting right here. We need to change it. Well, that's how it happened in real life.
Yeah, it's supposed to be better than real life, so we're not bored.
Well, that's it. My thing is always this: you're not writing an autobiography. You're writing fiction. Your job is to entertain me. If I am telling you that this right here either doesn't make sense, or it's boring, or it's slow, you got to fix it. Don't come back and tell me, well, that's how it happened in real life. I don't care. Again, if you're writing an autobiography, that's different, right?
Yeah.
But if you are writing fiction, you're trying to entertain me. Don't tell me, well, that's how it happened, because I don't care, and we don't care. Nobody cares.
There you go.
Nobody cares. I love science and comics, because obviously it's the science fiction. Tommy's we're watching Tommy eat there.
We're doing one right now.
Yeah, we're getting.
Yeah,
we have. There's another example. We've got science fiction in trunks that I never explained whatsoever. They have these sci-fi.
Yeah, how is this person flying? Right, this guy.
They have these sci-fi machines.
No. How is he flying?
He has that magic light stuff that goes around him.
Oh, and it
clearly no one else has that, so that's why he flies.
He's not from a different planet, maybe?
Nope.
Sure.
No.
Yes.
Is he?
Also, he has those metal things in his arms. Those metal things in his arms make him go whoosh.
Something he ate for lunch that's
whoosh.
making him fly.
I like that. He's got those metal things on his arms that make him go whoosh.
They make me go whoosh now.
Yep.
I like it. I can go for it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anything else, guys, gals and gals?
Just maybe remind people that if I'm correct, our Kickstarter page isn't live yet, but you can sign up to be updated as soon as it goes live. So we would encourage you to check that out.
It is not live yet. Let me get the link for it right here, and I will post it in the chat for all. Please go follow it so that you will be notified. When the link goes live.
And feel free to share it too.
Yes,
so other people.
Share it. We need followers. The last I looked, we were right at 35 followers, I think. I never can remember how to get there. I think I got to open up a different browser to see it because I'm logged in, so it won't show me when I'm logged in, which is weird. I don't know why it does that. You guys have big plans for the 4th tomorrow?
What are you going to do, bud?
Oh, I'll live my life.
Live
my life free of these necessities.
Pete's laughing.
I wish you all a lovely day.
They're already shooting fireworks over here. That's
here too.
My puppy.
I hope Santa, whoever it is, brings you something nice.
Santa.
We call him George Washington.
George Washington, that's right.
With his wooden teeth.
That's right. We call him George Washington. Hot dogs, everybody? Everybody planning on hot dogs for tomorrow?
Sure.
Yep.
I don't know what.
Gotta get those nitrates in.
All kind of
Oh dear.
We're gonna go riding in the morning, Tommy.
That's what I was going to talk to you about after.
All right. Yeah. I'm down. Let's do it. But I think you're right. I can't be late.
Because, I got to be back here.
So no one's doing any work tomorrow, no? Okay, got it.
Well, what does it say to the winners go the spoils?
Wow. Sure. You have your weekend day, the 3-day weekend.
It's just another excuse to have fun.
That's right.
I reckon.
And we do like our fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, have you noticed that Pete doesn't let us do anything? We can't do Thanksgiving.
No.
We can't do Halloween. Apparently, he doesn't like Christmas from that little statement a minute ago.
He
Now
doesn't
we
like
can't
fun.
do the 4th of
I
July. Come on, Pete.
this is all right. This is great. Listen to what Oven said, right? We put bullets under our pillows on the 3rd and wake up to a gun from Uncle Sam on the 4th.
Right. I bet you do.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
That's great.
Nice.
Oh, look.
And inscribed on all of the bullets are "God Save the Queen."
All right, wait a minute, real quick. Pete, what's the next big holiday that you guys do that we don't do? What's the next big one for you guys?
I don't think we have another one now.
Good, because you're not doing it. You can't do
Halloween.
it. Tough. All right.
Halloween.
Should we say no?
You love
We don't have anything
Halloween.
in the summer.
We have was it Labor Day coming up, right?
Yeah.
In September.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to tell Pete he couldn't celebrate something. So that's what
We have bank holidays.
Nope, can't do it. Sorry.
I don't have another bank holiday now until
Nope, can't do
I
that
think
one. Either.
August.
What's a bank holiday?
Bank holiday, technically, it's a day where historically it's when the banks would close because the banks are open all the time, but it's a day
Yeah.
the banks get off, and they
That's
turn
called
into
Sunday. Saturday and
turned
Sunday.
into,
That's the same as every day.
It was meant to be then all the shops would close, but now it's just a day off.
Uh,
Banks do close, but otherwise
Yeah.
shops are open. We have a few dotted around throughout the year.
and it's just called the bank holiday.
The bank holiday weekends, yeah. Yeah,
cool.
3-day weekend.
Huh. Yeah, we have holidays over here all the time. Happy Oven says happy early 4th, aka Treason Day.
Treason Day, that's right, that's what it is. Happy Treason Day.
Jose, I think Jose was saying the other day, I heard him say that on the 4th, he always gets an email from you or sees you post Happy
Yeah.
Treason Day.
Happy Treason Day.
Yeah. All right.
You still plan on coming to visit in October,
September.
right? Pete, September?
September.
Yeah, we'll
September is when the
see.
convention is. That's when I'll be there.
We'll see what happens when we get there.
What's this?
Well, I won't be applying for US citizenship. If that's what you think. Oh, I've loved my 2 days so much. I think I'll live here forever.
You've been here though, right? I mean, you've
I've
been
been here for years.
multiple
You know what I'm
times,
watching? I've been watching on Netflix. It's this. Is it Atac Island? It's a part of Alaska,
Oh,
and there's some pirate gold buried there.
Oh,
And these
Oak
guys
Island,
are out there
right?
trying to look
Oak
for this
Island.
pirate
That's a
gold.
cool show. Yeah.
Yeah.
170 people live on this island.
wow.
Why do you live out there? I looked it up on a map. You're closer to Japan than you are America. It's
wow.
so far out there.
Way out there, huh?
It used to be an American base, military base, but they closed it in the 90s. So it's only like 170 people. Why do you live out there?
They're looking for buried treasure. That's why they're out there.
Oh, but then I looked up. I thought, how much is it to buy a house on this place? There's a place on there for $4 million,
Holy mackerel!
Wow.
and I thought it'd be like
What?
10 grand to buy because no one lives there. No one wants to live there.
Right?
$4 million for this
Wow.
place.
Good grief!
It's obviously where people go to hunt and fish and holiday destination. But
Yeah.
wow, not what I was expecting.
Good grief!
Because it looks cold and miserable all the time. Yeah,
Probably
check it
is.
out.
I don't know anyone who would pay $4 million for that.
No.
I don't. I
The,
guess I don't.
the photos on the real estate website, glorious. You'd think you're in the West Indies. It was lovely.
Yeah. Wow.
But the TV program, it rains and it's grey and it snows. So I'm not sure when they took those photos.
Kind of like England, right?
Well, we've had quite a nice little heat wave recently.
Oh yeah.
And then we had a few days when it was sunny, then it rained, then it was sunny, then it rained.
Yeah. We've been
Every
getting a
day.
lot of rain here the last few days.
What, in Florida?
In Florida, yeah.
Go figure.
Maybe
Logan
Russians
says-
never left. You're right, maybe.
Maybe the Russians never left. Yeah. Yeah. So. Anyway. All right.
Anyway.
Curtis,
Yes,
tell people where they can find you on the interwebs. How's Shadow Ghost coming along?
it's coming along. Been working on it right
We'll
here.
get a little update. How far along are you? Are you okay to say?
Can you
I
share
can tell you,
anything?
I can
wait.
tell you. I'll tell you off air,
Okay,
but
all
not
right.
on there.
Oh,
Sounds
that's
good.
ominous.
Yeah, but
Sounds
yeah, no,
good.
it's coming along well. Coming along
Good.
well. And to tee off of that, you can go ahead and follow the progress, and even sign up. I'll start putting out newsletters for it on
I think.
my website.
Hold on. I think you got one of the. There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is. So go to www.theshadowghost.com. You can sign up for updates, and then of course for my martial arts classes, that's www.tigercrane.net. So you can check it out. That's where I am.
Woot woot. And Pete, what are you working on?
Oh, I'm finishing this cover for Switchblade.
Switchblade, but interiors you're working on Team Up 2, right?
Team Up 2, yeah.
Yeah,
We've
so
done
how-
Trumps. Tommy will be finished with those in the next day or so.
Yeah, yeah. How far along on
I'm
Team
on
Up 2?
page 15, I think now.
15? Okay.
14 or
So-
15. Oh no, I started laying out 15 yesterday. Yesterday or the day before.
So
I
I
had
need
to
to.
finish up some cards this week for Upper Deck, and I was a little bit behind schedule,
Oh, cool.
so I had to rush those through this week.
Cool. So I need to get to work on number 3.
Sure.
Whatever.
They pay so little, but
I've
Spider-Man
heard that.
cards. I was like, I got Spider-Man cards. They're cool.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that pays not very much, but it is
No, it
kind of
doesn't.
cool to do them. And Tommy, what are you working on?
What are you working on?
Working on Trump's number 4 and a bunch of covers. I had showed one of the earlier today. This is for Trump's number 3. I'm trying to knock it out. I'm going to work on it some more tonight.
And that's going to be original art on the Kickstarter, right?
Looks good.
Yes. Yep. And then it's Mr. Pete drew the thing. And actually, this is the cover. Should we show the cover? Maybe I shouldn't show it. Oh, we will. It's too late.
Yeah,
Done it
go
now.
ahead. Yeah.
So it's the cover for number 4. So it's going to be kind of a neat thing that Pete decided that he wanted to do real quick. So I'm trying to get this one done so we can get it up on the Kickstarter. And then as soon as I get this one done, I've got the Team Beetle cover that from Dean. Got to knock it out real quick too during
Nice.
this week, and then keep on knocking out the pages for Trump's, and yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Sweet. And
Yep.
Roberta, where can people
Hello.
find you? Oh, I forgot to ask you.
Oh yeah.
Pete, where can folks find you online?
Me,
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Pete.
on the Google.
on the Google. Peter Clinton Art, right?
Yeah, just type my name in.
Peter Clinton Art. There you go.
Yeah.
Tommy, where can folks find you online?
When my dog's not barking at the people outside shooting fireworks, just type in Flormonte. FLORIMONTE. I'm going to go back to mute.
And Roberta, what are you working on?
What am I working on? I'm
Yeah.
on Pendulum right now. So
Pendulum.
that's
But
mhm.
If I'm
Cat and
correct,
Mouse,
I was going to
and
say yeah.
and I'm waiting for Champuri.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, Roberta. But now
Mhm.
you kept up with it's basically anytime a cat and mouse page is delivered, it's done by you, right?
Except oh yes, everyone. Mhm.
Yeah. So basically, the minute you get the inks for cat and mouse, I mean,
I'm on it.
yeah, you're on it. Yeah. So Pendulum is the one that's like, okay, I don't have any cat and mouse
Pendulum's-
pages or
Yeah,
team up
kinda.
pages. So
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of filler, and
Yeah.
I'll get it done, in between those other ones. But
Yep.
yeah, the second I get Cat and Mouse, I'm on it.
Cool. Very cool.
Sorry.
And where can folks find you online, Roberta?
You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook under Roby Conroy. You can try Roberta Conroy, but Roby's more, I don't know, accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Occasionally, I'm sure you guys have probably seen it on Twitter. Folks say, "Hey, what artist should we follow?" And Silverline will then tag everybody here. So hopefully, points people to your pages and get some followers. So, as always, shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con, and make your plans to go to Daytona Beach Comic Con in September. You've already heard Pete say he's going to be there. Tommy and I live local, so we will both be there. And there's going to be a whole gaggle of the others there. Shout out to Coliseum of Comics. If you're in Orlando and want some Silverline Comics, go to Coliseum of Comics on East Colonial Drive or in Claremont. Tell them that we sent you. Shout out to Orlando Collector Deviants. They're a fan organization, fans for fandom, something like that. And then, of course, shout out to Kablam. Don't forget, guys, we've got a Tuesday show. Actually, I think these guys have decided to cancel Tuesday show since tomorrow is the 4th. So I don't think there's going to be a Tuesday show. There will be a Wednesday show. I think I may crash the party on Wednesday for the 4th because I think Dean is going to be unavailable. I think Scott will be hosting. We'll be back next week. I have forgotten what our topic is next week. But we are launching our Kickstarter this Thursday. So make your plans to do that. And remember, until next time, don't forget to make my Silverline.
Hi, my name is Sergio Cariello, and make mine Silverline.